I've got a quick project for you. We've got a couple of goofball cats and they like these scratching pads, scratching posts. It's just cardboard cut and then vertically oriented so they can kind of scratch on it. And as you can see, these are pretty worn. They like them. It's good to have around because it keeps them from scratching on other things, but I have a laser and I thought maybe I could do it on the laser real quick. I just ran a test and it worked really well. It's super clean. Hold on, let me grab it. Here is the test. It came out super clean, figured out a setting that works. So this is just a single individual one. I need 20 of these to make one of those 5-inch wide things. So you just cut them, vertically orient them. I'll probably just use hot glue. This is the spot that we kind of keep these so they come over and scratch on them and do their thing. I've also got a cat tree that they scratch on. But as you can see, they just get worn out. They have a couple spots they like to scratch on and they start to just flake off and leave all kinds of pieces. Oh, you gonna scratch on it, Bandit? You gonna get it, buddy? What you think of the new one? Yeah? You like it? All right. You gonna show them how you scratch? Scratch, buddy. Get it. Get it. Oh, you wanna scratch? Yeah, scratch. You do it. Show them how you scratch. You gonna make me get you some other time? All right.
After I framed it out and made sure that the laser was going to be in the place it needed to be, I proceeded to make the cut. So what you see right here is a real-time cut. I am just cutting out a single one of these pieces, and I actually had it set to do 2 different passes. That way the cut was nice and clean. If you wanted to draw this out in some software you had, it's really simple. I'm using Adobe Illustrator, and you basically just use the shape tool. So I'm drawing a box here, and then I head over to tell it the exact dimensions that I want it to be. These happen to be about 1.5 inches thick, so that ends up being how thick and tall the piece is. And I think they were 18.5 inches long. I use Lightburn for my laser software and it accepts Adobe Illustrator files. So a lot of my laser design stuff, I just save it as an AI file and that way I can bring it right into Lightburn and put all my settings in for how I want it to cut. So I just import my file into Lightburn. No, I don't want to update the software right now. It's really bad about wanting to do that every time you open it. I import my file and then I go to show you the settings. So on my particular laser, I have a 150 watt CO2 laser. I was running it at about 150 speed and 50 power. And then I set it to do 2 passes automatically. So it would just run 1 pass and immediately run another one before it stopped. This is a recreation because I've already done the work. So I'm just showing you at this point, you can save it out however you like to save it to your laser. Back over to the laser to cut some more. I loaded my file up and this time I created a file that had 5 of them right next to each other. That way I could cut the flaps off of this box that I was using and it fit perfectly and I could run all 5 without having to tell it to go each time after it made an individual cut. The honeycomb surface underneath where the laser cuts is metal, so you can use magnets on my particular one, and I do that a lot, especially for something lightweight like cardboard. There is air blowing out of the end of this nozzle because it's an air assist, and it would blow that cardboard around and you would mess up your job. So I just throw a few neodymium magnets on there and hold it down. We decided in the middle of this to make one big cat scratcher to rule them all. So I went back to the box that I was originally cutting up to recycle and just made a bunch more of these slats.
I am all ready to assemble this thing. I've got all my pieces here. I've got a straight edge that I'm going to clamp here. That way I can just butt all of them up next to it. I'm just going to use hot glue. That's the easiest thing I can think of and pretty cheap. And a couple clamps so that I can clamp down my straight edge. So let's get to it. Clamping down a straight edge so I can use it to just butt all of my boards up next to it like this. And the laser cut them so they're all even, but that way as I glue them I can do like this and make sure that they're square. My lovely camera lady Rebecca, my wife, just asked me a question I thought that was a good question as far as lasers go. She said, what if I have a big laser, you may not have a big laser, but what if you put multiple pieces of cardboard in there and did a bunch at the same time? You could, and there are some ways in Lightburn and different things that you can kind of set that up. I find at a certain point when you get multiple sheets of things, you spend more time kind of fiddling with that and make sure one of your pieces isn't going to fall like in the crack of where two of them meet. So what I like to do is just do multiples, but on as large of one single piece as I can get. So for the flaps of the box that I cut off, it would only do 5 at a time, is why I came up with the file of 5. And then when I got to the whole side of that particular box, it was large. So I could actually do 10 at a time, but I didn't go redesign my file. I already had the file, it was already loaded in the laser. So I just centered it and did 5 and then moved it over and rehomed it and told it to do 5 before I undid it. So those are good questions to ask, because if you don't have a laser, you don't think about it, but you can really lose yourself in being exact and trying to not have any waste. Trust me, I try not to waste things. I mean, a couple of these, look how thin I got on the waste of what I threw away. That was in between them. So just almost nothing there, which is good. You don't want to waste material if you don't have to, but there will always be waste with lasers. You want to minimize that, but you also want to maximize your time. All right, glue gun's hot, so I'm just going to put a few blobs here and there. Come on. For sure want to get it out near the ends. I need to add another stick. Let's see if I can get that to grab. It's already stuck pretty well. Why wasn't it pushing through? Maybe it was not quite hot enough. Doesn't take long for it to hold. I'm sure if you use too much glue, it might kind of hold you off, so they wouldn't go together well. So you got to be careful for that. And it's a cat scratcher, so it doesn't have to be perfect. There it goes. It's flowing a lot better now that it's really hot. Imagine that. Hot glue works better when it's hot. Yeah. Anytime you're dealing with laser stuff, you get a little bit of this char on your hands. It usually comes off with just alcohol. You can just do isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just gonna wipe on the top of here, not to get it super wet, but I just wanna get a little bit of that char off so that it doesn't get everywhere. And then it should be good to go. This should flash off pretty quickly, and it will take a lot of the charred edges and get rid of that charcoal. There we go. Cleans up pretty easily. It's just soot, smoke from the laser. Well, that's really all there is to it. Now we have a scratch pad that will get torn up very soon for the cats. I think these could be really cool if you wanted to sell them at a craft show or something like that. This could bring people in. You could use up cardboard scraps that you have. That's what I did with this one. It was a box that would have just gotten recycled or whatever. But you could draw art on here. You could spray paint the edges. You could do some kind of a geometric design with very minimal effort. And the reason I said craft show is I think they would do well there. They're a little bulky, even if you did half this size, they're a little bulky to ship. I don't think you're gonna make much money. Plus you can buy these at Walmart and PetSmart for $10 or something, you know? So by the time you ship something, I don't think that's gonna be worth it. But if you want to do this with a laser, I will have digital files that you can download for free on my website. I'll link to those below. And speaking of craft shows, I have a video on my channel talking about some things that I would do differently at craft shows and how one of them went for me. So I'll link it below. Go check that one out. Let me know what you think about quick, fast projects like this, if you like them. And I'll see you next time. Let's go see what the kitties think. Kitties, where are you? Come look. He's like, oh, is it time to eat? Let's move these old grungy things out of the way. Bandit, we got a new scratch pad. Yeah, you want to check it out? Oh, it's not food time, silly. Go look at mommy. Oh, yeah. You like it? He's like, I kind of like the old ones. You want to go scratch on it? Get out. He'll scratch on it on his own time, is what he said.
Yeah, good boy.
And in typical cat fashion, it took me like a week of trying to actually capture it on video of them using it.
We laying on it? That's a good boy. Oh my goodness, why'd he have to get up? I was trying to see if he'd scratch it. You gonna scratch on it? Come here. Scratch on this. There you go, good boy. Yeah, good boy. You silly. I can tell y'all been doing it, but I just can't get you scratching on it.